Once upon a time, in a small town by the banks of the San Francisco River, there lived a 28-year-old young man named Simon. Simon was an engineer who believed that everything in life could be controlled, measured, and predicted. He made lists for everything, planned every minute of his day, and despaired when things didn't go as expected. Simon's mind was always restless. He couldn't relax because there was always something to fix or organize. When it rained on barbecue day, he got irritated. When traffic was congested, he would shout inside his car. When people didn't do what he expected, he felt anxious and frustrated. One day, Simon lost a promotion at work to a less qualified colleague. He had planned everything perfectly, worked nights and weekends, but life decided differently. That night, he couldn't sleep. His mind was a hurricane of whys and, if I had done this. It was then that his grandmother, seeing his despair, told him about an old wise fisherman who lived upriver. He was a successful businessman in the capital, said his grandmother, but he left everything behind and went to live fishing by the river. They say he found a peace that money couldn't buy. Simon, skeptical but desperate, decided to visit him. Maybe that man could give him some answers about how to better control his life. After a 2-hour journey, Simon found a simple house by the riverbank. There sat a gray-haired man peacefully holding a fishing rod. "You must be Simon," said the man, without even looking back. "Your grandmother told me you would come. I'm John, and I imagine you're here because your life is out of control." John observed Simon for a moment and continued. "Let me guess, you make lists, plan everything, but still feel anxious and irritated when things don't go as expected." Simon was surprised by the accuracy. "You want to learn to control your life? Then come with me, I'll teach you something important." John led Simon to a section of the river where the current was stronger. He handed him a fishing rod and said, "I want you to catch a specific fish, a golden dorado weighing exactly 2 kilograms, and it must be caught at exactly 3 in the afternoon." Simon accepted the challenge, thinking he could finally show his control and determination. Simon began fishing with iron determination. He tried to control where the line fell, how long it stayed in the water, which bait to use. When the current took his line elsewhere, he fought against it, pulling hard. When a small fish bit, he got irritated. When no fish came at all, he constantly changed positions. Hours passed. Simon was sweaty, stressed, and hadn't caught anything. He shouted at the river, fought with the rod, blamed the bait. The current seemed to conspire against him. The more he tried to force the result, the more distant the fish seemed. John watched everything in silence with a serene smile on his face. When the sun began to set, John approached Simon. "Son, you're fighting against the river," he said gently. "Let me show you something different." John took his own rod, cast the line into the water, and simply waited. He didn't force, didn't pull, just followed the natural movement of the current. Within minutes, a fish bit John's bait. He didn't fight the fish, just guided it gently. "See," said John, "I didn't control the fish, I worked with the river, not against it. The current you saw as an enemy is actually your ally." Simon watched, fascinated, beginning to understand something profound. "Simon," continued John, "you've spent your whole life trying to swim against life's current. But life, like this river, has its own flow. You can work with it or against it. When you work with it, everything becomes easier." Simon felt something open in his mind. For the first time in years, he stopped trying to control and simply observed. John handed his rod to Simon and said, "Now try again. But this time, don't fight the river. Dance with it." Simon cast the line, and instead of forcing, he followed the water's movement. He relaxed his shoulders, took a deep breath. Within minutes, he felt a tug. But instead of pulling hard, he gently brought the fish closer. As Simon held the fish, John explained, "Real control isn't forcing the world to fit your plans. Real control is knowing when to act and when to allow. It's like dancing with life instead of fighting it." Simon finally understood. His anxiety decreased, his shoulders relaxed, and for the first time in months he smiled genuinely. Simon returned home transformed. He still made plans, but now knew when to let go of control. If you identified with Simon's story, Please give this video a like to help us reach more people who need this message. In the comments, share. Which area of your life do you try to control the most? And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories that can change your life perspective. Until the next story, remember, sometimes the greatest control is knowing when not to control.